Okay. So good afternoon, my dear friends. How are you all? Okay, amazing. So, sir, what are we discussing today? My dear friends, we had the agenda to continue with determination of price and output, right? We had the agenda to continue with determination of price and output, right? So we are going to continue that agenda as of today, determination of price and output, okay? Determination of price and output. We are going to continue with that only. We had solved some institute very good questions. So my idea is to help you further solve them. So are we ready, friends? Yes or no in the chat, please. Come on, everyone. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Correct. So simple. And yes, all the units we are discussing. So it's like today's class is also a summary revision of unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. Yes, we are doing determination of price and output, but it is also a summary revision. Also, my advice would be if somebody is attending this class directly without attending the previous 2 classes of price and output, kindly do that. Okay. And those who have attended regularly, you can very well listen to today's lecture. Okay. So pay attention, friends. All right. See, assuming that in the market for goods Z, there is a simultaneous increase in demand and quantity supplied. Increase in demand and quantity supplied. The result will be, now see, quantity demanded is rising, quantity supplied is rising. So one thing is for sure. One thing is for sure. Yes, I will also discuss with you today price ceiling and price floor. Okay. I will also discuss with you today price ceiling and price floor. Don't worry, I will revise it with you. Don't worry, just focus here. Just focus here. All right. So quantity demanded and quantity supplied. Now see, my dear friends, what is happening. Both are rising, so obviously equilibrium quantity will rise. But you see, you don't know whether the demand is rising by a greater proportion or supply. Can you see that? I cannot see. And therefore, price cannot be judged. Because only when you come to know that demand is excess, then the prices will rise, or when demand is less, supply is excess, then prices will lose, will get down. But here you don't have any such clue. Here, you don't have any such clue. So the fact of the matter is, when you are missing such kind of clues here, what you have got to do is, you have to adjust, and therefore our answer will be quantity, equilibrium quantity. See, it will increase, but price we don't know because we cannot judge the price matter. Understood? Not understood, friends? Everybody, yes or no in the chat, please. Come on, you or no in the chat, please. Very good. Correct answers I can see. Now see, suppose the technology for producing personal computer improves. Technology for producing personal computers improve, and at the same time, individuals discover new uses for personal computers so that there is greater utilization. So I mean, what we are seeing is technology is improving, so quantity supplied will improve. Just consider the impacts. All right. And now individuals are using, let's say suppose work from home has started, etc., etc. So now quantity demanded of personal computers have gone up. Both way there is an upward rise. Okay. Which of the following will happen to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? What we are given that quantity supplied and quantity demanded both are rising. So obviously equilibrium quantity will rise. Price, we are not very sure. We cannot, judge about or talk about price. So here also the answer will be quantity will rise, price cannot be determined. Sir, understood, sir. Understood, sir. You know why? Because both are rising. How can you say about price? You don't know whether demand is exceeding or supply is exceeding. You cannot say that. Yes, sir, we have understood. Now, perfect competition related question. Wow. Which of the following is not a condition of perfect competition? Achha. Large number of firms, yes. Perfect mobility of factors, okay. Informative and advertising to show that consumers have good information. Wrong. You know why? Because in perfect competition there is an assumption or a feature that there is perfect knowledge of buyers and sellers. What is it? There is perfect knowledge of buyers and sellers. there is perfect knowledge of buyers and sellers. So buyer has complete knowledge about market information, seller has complete information about market. So see, what is the purpose of advertising? Educating people about the available products. Now, if there is a perfect knowledge existing in market, who are you trying to educate? If there is a perfect knowledge existing in the market, my question is, who are you trying to educate? I mean, is there any sense here talking about education? No, sir, we get it. And that's what my answer is. So, my dear friend, answer is informative advertisement to ensure that consumers have good information. That is what we stick to. Okay, sir. Right. Advertising is there in monopolistic, oligopoly, even in monopoly, to increase the sale further or to make customers aware about the new products. But in perfect knowledge situation, that is perfect competition, no advertising is done. There is no logic, because advertising purpose is to create information, to create knowledge. Here there is perfect knowledge, so no logic. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a perfectly competitive market? So that's interesting here. Not a characteristic of a perfectly competitive market. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a perfectly competitive market? So see, large number of firms, yes, it's a characteristic, right? Output of the firms are perfect substitute, yes. Firms face downward sloping supply curve, no, that is my answer. Option C is my answer. You know why? Because in perfect competition, the demand curve is a horizontal curve. Downward sloping exists in monopoly, in monopolistic competition, as a matter of fact, but definitely not in perfect competition. And so my answer is option C. Okay, Sahi. All right, we got it. Which of the following is not a characteristic of monopolistic competition? Not a characteristic. Not a characteristic. You see, monopolistic competition, ease of entry, yes. Product differentiation, yes. Relatively large number of sellers, yes. Is the product homogeneous? No. So this is the answer. Homogeneous means exactly same. Arey Baba, here the brand is different, colors is different, design is different, warranty is different. So obviously they are not homogeneous. Even if one thing is different between two products, they will not be homogeneous. Even if one thing is different between two products, they will not be homogeneous. So forget about anything else. So forget about anything else. Now moving on to the market. Monopoly may arise in the market. Why? Because in a product market, because a significantly important resource for production is owned by a single firm. Government has given the firm patent right to produce the commodity. Cost of production and economies of scale make production by a single producer more efficient. All the above. So see, monopoly may arise in a market because a significantly important resource is owned by a single firm. Yes, it is correct. Government has given patent right. Yes. Cost of production make production by a single producer more efficient. Yes. So all the above are basically the reasons behind why everybody cannot enter this market. So these are basically, sir, you are telling these are the barriers to entry that create a market monopoly. That create a market monopoly. Are we thinking correct, sir? Are we on the correct lines, sir? Absolutely, friends. You are on fantastic lines. Absolutely correct. Great. Now we talk about oligopolistic market. We talk about oligopolistic market, correct? See, oligopolistic industries are characterized by few dominant firms and substantial barriers to entry. Yes, you could say that, there is no harm in saying so. Let's see the next one. We will first of all read each one of them, which is wrong, we don't know. A few large firms and no entry barriers. Okay, characterized by few large firms and no entry barriers. Okay. There are some entry barriers, so I don't, feel it the reason. 22A I am agreeing, but 22B I am unable to agree because there are some entry barriers. Otherwise, why will there will be few firms? There will be many firms if there are no barriers as such. A large number of small firms, wrong. The firm, see, small firms, but they are very large. So large number of small firms is wrong. One dominant firm and low entry barriers, wrong. So my dear friends, automatically the first statement that we agreed to, few dominant firms, like, for example, PepsiCo and this Coca-Cola, we gave the example last day, Coca-Cola, then there is this Airbus example that I was constantly giving, Airbus, and then there is this Boeing Airlines, right? So there it is. Question number 23, let's see whether we are able to take it out or grab it or not. So see, let's hear it out. Price taking firms, that is firms, pay attention everyone, price taking firms, that is firms that operate in a perfectly competitive market. Price taking firms, that is firms that operate in a perfectly competitive market. They operate in a perfectly competitive market, are said to be small relative to the market. Okay, which of the following best describes the smallness? Okay, so they are taking that price taking firm, that is firm that operate in a perfectly competitive market, are said to be small relative to the market. Okay, we are talking about perfect competition here, it seems. Perfect competition, it seems we are talking about. Why we are calling them small? Is it because they have 10 employees? No. Is it because they have downward sloping curve? No. Is it because they have assets less than 20 lakhs? No. It is because they are small, because they are unable to have any impact on the market. Their entry and their exit is irrelevant to the market. The individual firm is unable to affect the market price through its output decisions. That's why it is the correct answer to say, friends. Understood, not understood? Yes, sir, it is crystal clear. We understood that. So let's move on to the next one. You see, for a price taking firm, you see, whenever it is taking price taking firm, now, our mind should think of perfect competition. Because if it is not, then we are wrong. We must think of perfect competition then. Okay, now let's see. Marginal revenue is less than price, equal to price, yes. Bilkul. Greater than wrong. Relationship between this is indeterminate. So friends, if they are saying so, absolutely, P equals to MR. You have drawn this diagram, you know. In fact, P equals to AR equals to MR. We have drawn this diagram last day. So that's absolutely correct. We are not wrong. We are absolutely correct in that, in saying so, friends. So I'm sure all of you friends are agreeing to whatever we are discussing. Yes or no, please confirm. All right. So now pay attention, friends. If this much is crystal clear, pay attention, please. All right, sir, crystal clear. Moving on. Next. Monopolistic competition differs from perfect competition. Why? Primarily because monopolistic competition differs from perfect competition. Monopolistic competition differs from perfect competition. Okay, because in monopolistic competition, firms can differentiate their products. Yes, it's correct. Perfect competition, oh no, they cannot differentiate. In monopolistic competition, entry is blocked. No. In monopolistic, there are relatively few barriers to entry. Yes, it is okay. It is okay that there are few barriers to entry, but the best is explained by this point. That monopolistic competition, firms can differentiate their products. That is the key thing here. So 25A is correct, everybody. Moving on. The long run equilibrium outcomes in monopolistic competition and perfect competition are similar. Yes, because both have normal profit in the long run. Because in both market structures, firm will only earn a normal profit. Oh my God, I did not know that this is what they are going to ask, but indeed it is. You all remember that a monopoly will earn supernormal profit in the long run, S&P, supernormal profit. But a perfectly competitive firm, a monopolistically competitive firm is only going to earn normal profits, normal profits. Normal profits. Sir, Saeed. Let's go ahead, friends. Question 27. Which one of the following is distinguishing characteristic of oligopoly? Standardized products, I don't agree. Goal of profit maximization, ठीक है ना? It is okay, but that is not distinguishing. Distinguishing means special. That is relevant to this. Because you know they are selling standardized, everybody is. Their goal is profit maximization, everybody is. But strategic interdependence, I told you, strategic interdependence, we discussed this point, is a very strategic interdependence is a very unique feature present only in oligopoly markets. Yes, friends? Yes, sir, you are correct. Yes, sir, you are correct. So hence our answer accordingly. In which form of market structure is degree of the control over price by a firm very large? Okay, so firm can exercise a large degree of control. I don't need options. Monopoly, because monopolist is the single seller. Since the monopolist is the single seller, Baba, everybody is going to follow my price lines rather than me having to follow anybody else. So I mean, there is no competition here. Absolutely, monopoly is the correct answer. Right. All right, sir. Next, friends, moving on. Average revenue curve, AR curve, is also known as, I have told you, price curve or demand curve. AR is also called price, by the way. And price curve is indeed called demand curve. And so, friends, it follows your answer to be demand curve. Your answer to be demand curve. Your answer will be demand curve. Under which of the following market structures does a firm have no control over the price of its product? Acha, there is no control over the price. Where is perfect competition? As we know, there is no control whatsoever. Entire control lies with who? Entire control lies with the market forces of, you guessed it right, market forces of demand and supply. Market forces of demand and supply. Market forces of demand and supply. Right. Discriminating monopoly implies that the monopolist charges different prices for his commodity. Acha, they are saying discriminating monopoly implies monopolist charging different prices for his commodity. Acha. From different group of consumers for different uses at different places. Now, friends, sorry to say about one thing, but I am unable to identify any one of them. So my answer would be all of them. Because for different groups means from male some rent can be charged, from female some fare can be charged, or from male or let's say old age people half ticket, young age people full money for different uses. So suppose you are using electricity for commercial purposes, you will have to pay higher fare. If you are using it for agricultural purposes, low fare. For residential purposes, low fare. That is for according to use. Discrimination on the basis of use and at different places. So it can happen that the price of a product in Mumbai might be different from the one in Kolkata. Absolutely, it can be. And so it could be any of the above. So basically, you could segregate amongst them on any of the concepts or any of the fundas. And accordingly, your answer will be any of the above. I hope it's crystal clear, friends. Yes, sir, it's crystal clear. Moving on. Price discrimination will be profitable only if elasticity of demand in different sub-markets is, yes, absolutely correct, is different. Obviously, Arey Baba, if elasticity of demand is the same, price has to be the same. Suppose there are two sub-markets. Here I know even if I increase the price, there will be no effect on demand. So there is no price elasticity of demand. But here I know high price elasticity of demand. So what will I do? I will keep the prices low. Because if I try to keep them high, consumers may run away from me. So elasticity has to be different for price discrimination to take place. Everybody write this down in the chat only, then I will move forward. What you have to write? Elasticity of demand has to be different in different markets for price discrimination to take place. Elasticity of demand has to be different in different markets for for this particular discrimination to take place. For price discrimination to take place. Everybody, you will write it down. Then only I will move forward. Then only I will move forward. Come on, everybody. Write it down, everybody. Absolutely correct. So price discrimination is possible in different markets only when each of the market are are not connected to each other, and also they have different elasticities of demand. They have different elasticities of demand. They have different elasticities of demand. Elasticity has to be different. Elasticity has to be different. सर प्लीज एक्सप्लेन इन हिंदी. ओके, देखिए क्या होता है ना, एक मार्केट में मैं प्राइस ज्यादा रखूंगा, एक मार्केट में मैं प्राइस कम रखूंगा. यही तो है प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. ऐसा मैं कब कर पाऊंगा? मैं जिस मार्केट में ज्यादा प्राइस रख रहा हूं, मुझे पता है उस मार्केट में मैं ज्यादा प्राइस भी रखूं तो कंज्यूमर को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट दूसरे मार्केट में प्राइस क्यों कम रखना पड़ रहा है? क्योंकि अगर जरा सा भी प्राइस बढ़ाएं तो कंज्यूमर को फर्क पड़ेगा. तो एक मार्केट में इलास्टिसिटी कम है, एक मार्केट में इलास्टिसिटी ज्यादा है, इसलिए मैं अलग अलग प्राइसेस चार्ज कर पा रहा हूं. अगर दोनों मार्केट में प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी सेम रहता तो मेरे को प्राइस भी सेम रखना पड़ता. यस सर, यू आर लॉजिकली करेक्ट. यस सर, इट्स लॉजिकली करेक्ट. एब्सोल्युटली. So let's move on to the next one. Yeah, what is going on? Let's see. Let's find out. Okay. In the context of oligopoly, what does Kinked demand hypothesis show? It's like this. The curve is lying like this, and then it goes like this. The Kinked demand hypothesis. Okay. It shows price rigidity. You know, prices cannot be changed. You remember I showed you yesterday that if you choose to change the price, you know what impacts you will have. So remember, Kinked demand hypothesis indicates price rigidity. Price rigidity, price rigidity, price rigidity. Kinked demand hypothesis shows price rigidity. Kinked demand hypothesis shows price rigidity. Understood, sir? Understood, understood, understood. Come on, everybody, please confirm. All right. The firm in a perfectly competitive market is a price taker. The firm in a perfectly competitive market is a price taker. Yes, that's correct. This designation as a price taker is based on the assumption that this designation as a price taker is based on the assumption that. Now pay attention, everyone. Pay attention, everyone. The firm in a perfectly competitive market is a price taker. The firm in a perfectly competitive market is a price taker. This designation as a price taker is based on what assumption? Is based on what assumption? So friends, it is based on the assumption that firm has some, let's see the option, but not complete control over price. There are so many buyers in the market that individual firm cannot affect the market. Yes, that's right. Yes. Yes, the firm produces homogeneous product, but it does not explain why it is a price taker. Yes, there is easy entry and exit, because students might think that sir, other features are also correct. Why you are marking them wrong? Because the question is pertaining to the price taker. It's not that which feature is right or wrong. They are not asking that. That कौन सा feature correct है, कौन सा feature गलत है. They are asking, वो लोग का question है कि भाई कौन सा feature right है wrong है, वो नहीं पूछ रहे हैं वो लोग. वो लोग पूछ रहे हैं भाई प्राइस टेकर क्यों बोल रहे हैं. तो आपका आंसर होना चाहिए क्योंकि ये लोग प्राइस डिसाइड नहीं कर पाते, क्योंकि मार्केट में इतने बायर्स और सेलर्स है कि एक इंडिविजुअल इनसिग्निफिकेंट हो जाता है. एक इंडिविजुअल इनसिग्निफिकेंट हो जाता है. अच्छा सर, अंडरस्टूड. मूविंग ऑन. नेक्स्ट, मूविंग ऑन. Suppose that the demand curve for XYZ company slopes downwards to the right and to the right. We can conclude that firm operates in a perfectly competitive market. Firm can sell all its established market price. You know, XYZ company is not a price taker in the market because it must lower price to sell additional units. XYZ company will not be able to maximize profit because price and revenue are subject to change. So see, suppose the demand curve is sloping downwards to the right. The firm operates no, because it has a horizontal curve. 35 का next part, let's see. B, no. It is not a price taker because it must lower price to sell additional. Absolutely correct. Because downward sloping means what? Let's say you have high price, so low quantity. Okay. So to sell more, you are reducing price. So quantity is rising, yes or no? So there is this downward relation that you see. There is downward movement that you see. Yes, sir, indeed it is correct. And so your option is point C. Your answer is point C. Absolutely correct. Now a good question. Question number 36, everybody. Question number 36, everybody. If firms in the toothpaste industry have the following market shares, which market structure would best describe the industry? Which market structure would best? So you see there are few firms which are large, Small firms, small number of firms I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hardly there are 7 firms in the market, which are controlling almost 100% of the market. So my dear friends, whenever a market is characterized by a very few firms, what kind of market are we pointing at? Can you tell me which market are we pointing at in question 36? If there are very few firms in the market, sir, obviously you're talking about oligopoly. We know this, sir. Right. So oligopoly is your answer. Next. Kinked demand curve model of oligopoly assumes. Kinked demand curve you all forgot or remember? It's like this. We discussed it yesterday as well. It's like this. Yes, sir, you are correct. What does it assume? That response to a price increase is less than response to a price decrease. Okay. Response of consumers to a price increase is more than response to a price decrease. Okay. Next, let's see what else is going on. But 37B is correct now. Response to a price increase is more because you see what is happening. Suppose this is a price. Okay. Suppose this is the quantity. So if little price increase, quantity will fall vigorously. Zoom. It has fallen by a large quantity. But suppose price has reduced, then others have also reduced. So quantity has increased, but with very little quantity. So therefore, response to price increase is more. What is the response? Drastic fall in demand. Drastic fall in demand. I have told you this. And so the Kinked demand hypothesis assumes 37B. I hope it's crystal clear, friends. Yes or no? Yes or no, please. Come on, yes or no? Wow. Question 38. Now question 38 is really a good one because we have had a discussion on this. Even I made you write notes separately on the same, if you all remember it well. Okay, so see. A firm encounters its shutdown point. A firm encounters its shutdown point when average total cost equals price, when average variable cost equals price. Absolutely. That is the shutdown point, when price equals to average variable cost. Because when price equals to average cost, that is not shutdown. What point it is? It is break-even point. Shutdown is just the point enough to give incentive to continue production. Below this, stop production, temporarily shut down your business. And so P equals to AVC is the correct answer. P equals to AC implies break-even point, not shutdown point. Yes, sir, we do remember this. You had discussed this. Absolutely, I did. So let's move on to the next one, shall we? Let's move on to the shall we. Let's move on to the next one, shall we, friends? Yes. Suppose that at the profit maximizing level of output, a firm finds that market price is less than average total cost. Achha, price is less than average total cost. Okay. But greater than variable cost. Achha. So above shutdown point, you should continue production. Okay. Which is correct? Firm should shut down. No. Arey Baba, price is greater than average variable cost. Okay. So what you will advise to this firm? You will advise this firm that everything will okay, everything will be okay. You just continue production in the short run. Because at least you are able to recover more than average variable cost. So you are recovering part of fixed cost. So suppose if fixed cost is 100, suppose you are able to recover 20 if price is greater than average variable cost. So it's better to continue production. Remember, when price is greater than average variable cost, continue production in the short run because prices will adjust themselves. Continue production. When you should shut down, when price equals to average variable cost, that is a shutdown scenario. Here also you will continue, and while price is greater than AVC, when price is less than AVC, then you should stop. When you should stop, when price is less than AVC. When you should stop without thinking, that is when your price is less than AVC. So you are not even able to recover variable cost. Fixed cost का loss तो आप कर ही रहे हो. Fixed cost का तो नुकसान आप खा ही रहे हो. अगर एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट से भी कम है आपकी प्राइस तो आपको रोक देना चाहिए. बट अगर रिकवर कर ले रहे हो एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट तो कंटिन्यू करिए प्रोडक्शन. रोकने का कोई दरकार नहीं. Okay, sir, we have understood. Sir, we have understood. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so see what is going on. When price is less than average variable cost at profit maximizing level of output. Acha, now price. Arey, you should stop. Don't think. Produce. No, not produce. Shut down since it will lose nothing in that case. Shut down since it cannot even recover its variable cost if it stays in business. Yes. Arey Baba, fixed cost for loss is taking place. If price is less than average variable cost, implies you are unable to recover even variable cost. So loss is increasing further. So yes, you should shut down since you are even not able to recover your variable cost. That is the reason you shut down. And that is our answer, friends. That is our answer, friends. Got it. A perfectly competitive supply schedule in the short run is determined by purely competitive firms supply schedule in the short run is determined by its, obviously you all know this, is the marginal cost curve which is U-shaped in nature. So it's determined by its marginal cost curve, no doubt. You remember the point of MC, marginal cost, I made you write this statement. The point of marginal cost curve, yeah, the part of marginal cost curve which lies above the shutdown point is the supply curve of perfect competition in short run. I had told you this, even made you write this. Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Next, moving on. One characteristic, okay, one feature not typical of oligopolistic industry. One characteristic not typical of oligopolistic industry. Not typical of oligopolistic industry. Not typical of oligopolistic industry is horizontal demand curve. Too much importance to non-price competition, price leadership, small. Obviously, you know, oligopolistic industry, common sense is doesn't have a horizontal demand curve. In fact, its demand curve is indeterminate, kinked shape. So that is the logic or economics behind it. Next, the structure of toothpaste industry. Okay, the structure of toothpaste industry in India is best described as, so my dear friends, you can straight away write monopolistically competitive because there are a large number of brands enjoying brand monopoly. You know, some name we know, some we don't know, but yes, there are large number. So monopolistically competitive, we will write it down. Okay. Cold drink, there are very few. Cold drink, there are very few. You hardly know of, you know, this PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. All this Mountain Dew, Sprite come under them only. So oligopolistic. Few firms. In soap, toothpaste, and other FMCG, there are many. So monopolistically competitive in FMCG, okay, in general. Okay. Now, friends, I will give you 2 minutes, or okay, let's give you 5 minutes to solve from 45 to 48. Then we discuss because they are closely interrelated. Come on, everybody, 45 to 48. Read it out and solve it. (45 to 48). Come on, friends. Come on, everyone, waiting. So let me highlight for you. Let me explain it to you. Okay. 45. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? Even a monopolistic firm can have losses. It is correct. What is incorrect about it? Firm in a perfectly are price taker. Yes, it is correct. It is always beneficial for a firm to discriminate prices. Okay, 45 we are discussing. And also we are discussing here is king demand curve is yes, it is correct. So why they will discriminate prices? It is not beneficial because there is perfect knowledge with buyers and sellers. So don't try to attempt this misadventure. There is perfect knowledge. So you should not discriminate. That is a feature of monopoly market. Price discrimination is a unique feature of monopoly market. Okay, got it. Under perfect competition, in the long run, there will be no. Under perfect competition, in the long run, under perfect competition, in the long run, there will be no normal profit, supernormal profit, production or cost. So under perfect competition, in the long run, remember, there will be no supernormal profits. There will be no supernormal profits. You know, because in the long run, you will only be making normal profits. Obviously, production will continue to take place. Costs will continue to be incurred. So there is no sense in stating the two as answers. Okay. Let's move on to the next two. When dash, we know that the firms are just earning normal profits. Okay. So we are asked to how normal profits. When average cost is equals to average revenue. That is, you know, it can also be said as when total cost equals to total revenue. Both are same. One is representing average, that is per unit. Other is representing total. But that is the difference. So when average cost is equals to average revenue. Achha, moving on. When dash, we know that firms under perfect competition must be producing at minimum point of average cost curve, and so there will be productive efficiency. When dash, we know that firm. So we are talking about efficiency. You know, when you achieve efficiency, remember friends, when do you achieve efficiency? So as far as efficiency is concerned, you achieve that when you are able to ensure, here it is, they are talking about perfect competition, under perfect competition, at its minimum point of average cost curve, and so there will be productive efficiency. Okay. See, I will tell you this. This is average cost. Okay. This is marginal cost. At minimum point of average cost, MC curve equals to AC curve. Na? This is what they are trying to ask. At minimum point of average cost, marginal cost equals to average cost at minimum point. Understood? Not understood? Please confirm it. At minimum point, you will remember this diagram. If you have forgotten, draw it right now. We have done it in cost chapter only. Sir, which diagram? Here it is. The U-shaped average cost curve, MC curve, passing through the minimum of average cost price. So you remember it that way. You know it that way, friends. Come on. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Crystal clear. Let me give you another 5 questions then. Here it is. Please try it out. Only then I will start discussing. Come on, everyone. So let's hear it out. Let's hear it out. When dash, there will be allocative efficiency, meaning thereby that the cost of last unit is exactly equal to the price consumers are willing to pay for it, and so that right goods are being sold to the right people at the right price. So what do you understand here? Friends, see, pay attention here. When dash, there will be allocative efficiency, meaning thereby, pay attention everyone, that the cost of last unit produced is exactly equal to the cost of last unit means marginal cost. Cost of last unit means the marginal cost, okay, is exactly equal to the price consumers are willing to pay for it. It means average revenue, marginal cost equals to price, or marginal cost equal to average revenue. So this is not the answer, this is not the answer, this is the answer. Because the price that the consumers are willing to pay for it is also called average revenue. So indirectly, the cost of last unit is nothing but marginal cost, and the price consumers are willing to pay for it is average revenue. So therefore, MC equals to AR is your answer. MC equals to AR is your answer. I hope everybody has understood that crystal clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, moving on. Agricultural goods market. Agricultural goods market depicts characteristics. Agricultural goods market depicts characteristics close to. They are talking about agricultural goods market, and in the first type of competition I had discussed, it is the feature of perfect competition. It indicates perfect competition. So accordingly, our answer is perfect competition there. All right, now moving on. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a competitive market? Acha. Let's see what it is. There are many buyers and sellers. No. It is okay. Goods offered are largely the same. Yes, correct. Firms generate small but positive. No. If the market is competitive, you all remember we have done 2 competitive markets. One was perfect competition. The other was monopolistic competition. In both, what was happening in long run? You all tell me, in both, what was happening in long run? In both the markets, what was happening in the long run? And if we discuss now, you will only make normal profits. Because in short run, if you are earning supernormal profits, new firms will enter the market, killing your supernormal gains. If you are making losses in the long run, existing firms will leave the market, again inducing you back there. Therefore, your answer is highlighted here. Therefore, your answer is highlighted here. Okay. Which of the following markets would most closely satisfy the requirement of a perfectly competitive market? Close, not exact. Remember, they are saying close, not exact. You know, fruits, vegetables, and all these things, you know, show it. So I think milk industry would definitely showcase the same. Because around and about milk quality is the same. That is why. Price is almost the same. So there are features. So fruits, vegetables, All these are generally going to, showcase your perfectly competitive market. Okay. Yes. Next, moving on. Moving on. Pay attention, everyone. Pay attention, everyone. Pay attention, everyone. Moving on. Correct. Which of the following statement is accurately regarded as a perfectly competitive firm? Which of the following statement is accurate regarding a perfectly competitive firm? Demand curve is downward sloping? No, it is horizontal. Demand curve lies above the marginal revenue curve. For perfectly competitive firm, average revenue need not be equal to price. Wrong. Price is given and determined by the equilibrium in the entire market. So this is the absolute accurate. We have discussed this, that there is demand supply intersection, and whatever is the price is set for the market. We have drawn this diagram, we have shown this diagram, sir. Yes, sir, you are correct in that regard. Correct, correct. Now moving on to the next three. The market for hand tools like hammers and screwdrivers is dominated by Draper, Stanley, and Craftsman. This market is best described as, what will you consider this market to be? Obviously an oligopoly, because it is a market dominated by very few sellers. So if there are few sellers in the market, you will obviously call it to be an oligopoly market, as they have given the name of only three brands, Draper, Stanley, and Craftsman. A market structure in which firms sell products that are similar but not identical. Similar but not identical. So here it is giving me the feel of monopolistic competition. Shoe industry, Nike, Puma, Adidas, Bata, and other brands. You remember that? Yes, sir. Yes. So 55 will be A. All right, moving on. When an oligopolist individually chooses its level of production to maximize its profits, it charges a price that is, so see what is happening. When an oligopolist individually chooses its level of production to maximize of its profits, it charges a price that is, so oligopoly we are discussing about. It charges a price that is more than the price charged by either monopoly or competitive market, less than price charged by a monopoly or competitive market, more than the price charged by monopoly and less than price charged by competitive, less than price charged by a monopoly and more than charged by a competitive market. Correct. In monopoly, you can charge high prices because there is no competition. But in monopolistic competition, there is competition. So you cannot charge that high. So therefore, less than charged in monopoly. But in perfect competition, demand and supply forces act. In monopolistic competition, they do not. So whatever price perfect competition is telling, you may go ahead and determine a much higher price that is allowable. So option D is the correct answer. The best question so far. The best question so far is this one. So 56D would be the answer. 56D would be the answer. That's the correct answer. Sir, we got it. In the long run, now pay attention, friends. In the long run, equilibrium of a competitive market, firms operate at intersection of MC and MR. Yes, they may. Let's see. At their efficient scale, at zero economic profits. Yes, correct. Zero economic profit means normal profit. Everybody write down in the chat. Zero economic profit means normal profit. Correct. Intersection of MC and MR. That is also correct. So all these answers are correct. Remember, zero economic profit means normal profit. Zero economic profit means normal profit. Zero economic profit means normal profit. Okay. Now moving on. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a monopolistically competitive market? Which of the following is not a characteristic of a monopolistically competitive market? Monopolistically competitive market. Free entry and exit, okay. Abnormal profits in the long run. Abnormal means super normal. Abnormal means super normal. No. If you are monopolistic competitive, in long run you will only make normal profits. In long run you will only make normal profits. No super normal business. Nothing super normal going on. Understood, friends? Yes, sir. You are correct. Yes. In a very short period, supply is fixed. Correct. We have discussed very short period. Also called, so very short period is also called, my dear friends, market period. Here, all the factors of production in very short period, all the factors of productions are fixed. All the factors of production are fixed. All the factors of production are fixed. Yes, sir, we have understood this. Next, moving on. Question number 60, let's discuss it. Everybody, question number 60. Time element was conceived by, okay. So time element, my dear friends, was the idea of Alfred Marshall. You know, Alfred Marshall has a lot of, contribution, law of demand was given by Alfred Marshall. Law of diminishing marginal utility was given by Alfred Marshall. Now, this time concept, time element concept was also conceived by Alfred Marshall. Short period, long period, etc., etc. Short period, long period, etc., etc. Is that so, sir? Yes, sir, that is so. So, my dear friends, our answer is this one. Time element was conceived by Alfred Marshall. Correct. Remember this. Everybody write it down in your chat box. Time element was conceived by Alfred Marshall. By Alfred Marshall. ALFRED, Alfred Marshall. 61 is such an easy question. 61 is such an easy question that there is hardly anything left here. 61 is what? Total revenue they are asking. Arey Baba, total revenue is nothing but price into quantity, full stop. Price into quantity, total revenue. Bus game over. So that is correct. What is total revenue equals to? It is equals to price into quantity. Price into quantity. Price into quantity. Total revenue is price into quantity. Yes. Average revenue is the revenue earned. Average revenue is the revenue earned per unit of input, per unit of output. Different unit of input, different units of output. So yes, average revenue is the revenue that you earn per unit of output, that you make per unit of output. Average revenue is the revenue earned per unit of output. It's the revenue earned per unit of output. That's correct, friends. So your answer is, it is the revenue earned per unit of output. Average revenue is the revenue earned per unit of output. Average revenue can be symbolically written as total revenue by quantity. Total revenue by quantity. Total revenue by quantity. Absolutely correct. Average revenue is what? Total revenue divided by quantity. Okay. Obviously, you know the question number 64. What is written is, average revenue is also known as what? Average revenue is also known as price. So therefore, your answer is correct here. Average revenue is also known as price. Marginal revenue can be defined as change in total revenue resulting from sales of additional unit of a commodity. Correct. From sales of additional unit of a commodity. So for example, if quantity is 1, total revenue is 10. Quantity is 2, total revenue is 15. So if they ask you about marginal revenue, for the first unit it is 10. For the second unit, it is 15 minus 10, that is 5. It is 15 minus 10, that is 5. So that will be marginal revenue. That will be marginal revenue. So sale of additional unit of a commodity, that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer to give, friends. That is the correct answer to give, friends. When E is greater than 1, MR is positive, because we have discussed this formula, MR equals to AR into E minus 1 by E. Long back we have discussed this formula. Long back we have discussed this formula. MR equals to AR into E minus 1 by E. So there is nothing, surprising or new here. MR equals to AR into E minus 1 by E. Moving on. When E equals to 1, obviously if you put 1 here, MR will become 0. So MR is 0. MR is 0. When E equals to 1, MR is 0. Understood, sir. Understood, sir. When E is less than 1, obviously then MR is negative. When E is less than 1, then MR is negative. When E is less than 1, MR is negative. When E is less than 1, MR is negative. When E is less than 1, MR is negative. In economics, the term market refers to place where buyers and sellers bargain a product or a service for a price. Place where buyer does not bargain, seller does not bargain. Wrong. Place where buyer and seller, interact and decide about the price and quantity. So, both are involved here. Question 70. Under perfect competition, a firm is the wrong. A firm is a price taker. Yes, absolutely. Not price maker. Who is the price maker? We have discussed market forces of demand and supply. How is the diagram given? It's like this. This is the demand curve. This is the supply curve. So the intersection gives the price and quantity levels. A monopolist is a price maker, definitely, because monopolist has complete control over the price of their products. Absolutely, they are price makers. Why not? Price discrimination is a feature of obviously monopoly market, where for the same product from different consumers, they are able to charge different prices. Okay? Yes, correct. Under monopoly, the degree of control over price, is very considerable. Yes, the monopolist has huge control over the price because the monopolist is the only seller in the market, having no close substitutes. Generally, a perishable goods, obviously like butter, etc., will have regional market, local market, national market. Obviously, local market. Baba, you will not buy it from somewhere else. The vegetables, if you have to eat in the evening, you will go to your local market and purchase, na? Sir, it is to common sense, sir. Yes, that is correct. So therefore, our answer is local market. Now that is a good one. We have discussed this. At price P1, can you see it? Price P1. Price P1, you can see, yes. At price P1. It's even below average variable cost. If you look carefully, price P1 seems to be even below average variable cost. Price P1 even seems to be below average variable cost. So you will not produce. Baba, you shut down when price is less than ABC, zero output is produced. You see carefully, average variable cost is somewhat here, price is below this. We will not be producing. Zero output. Below shutdown point, you are lying, Baba. Now, secular period. Obviously, it's a very long period where the entire market dynamics change. Obviously, it's a long period. Here, the entire market dynamics change completely. Stock exchange is a regulated market. Who is regulating? Stock exchange. SEBI. Regulating means when there is a body who is a watchdog, who is ensuring that no misadventure, no cheating is going on. Market for ultimate consumers is known as retail market, because in retail market, the dukandars, that is the retailers, sell to the ultimate consumers. Condition for pure competition is yes, large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous product with freedom of entry and exit. These three make up pure competition. So both A and B is our answer. Both A and B is our answer. Absolutely. Pure oligopoly is a market where homogeneous products are being sold. Pure oligopoly is also called perfect oligopoly. For example, I give you the example of SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. Steel products, iron products, oil, all these are same. Kerosene, petrol, diesel cannot be different. Okay. So now, my dear friends, before I discuss any further, there is a concept that I want you all to learn. Are you ready to understand that concept from me? What's your friends? You all know in the chat box, please. A very simple but a very useful concept. Okay, sir, we are ready. You teach. See, friends, the concept is called price ceiling and price floor. Now, what is price ceiling? First of all, it is imposed by the government. Who is imposing it? The government. Why? Who is the government trying to protect? To protect consumers. In case of essential commodities. In case of essential commodities. First of all, note this much down, everybody. Price ceiling, who is fixing? Fixed by the government to protect consumers for essential commodities. To protect consumers for essential commodities. This much, first of all, write down. First of all, write down, then I will explain any further. It's correct, sir. It's correct. It's correct. So, friends, now what is happening is, just a moment, guys. I need to do one setting. Just a moment. Yes, now it is okay. Finally, we can draw. Now see, if I have drawn this, all right. Now see, how is price determined in the market? See, this is the demand curve. This is the supply curve. Okay. Now, what is the market price? This is the equilibrium price. This is the equilibrium quantity. Okay, this much you all know. I have not taught you anything here. So see, what is happening is, you all tell me, if this is the equilibrium price, we are talking about essential commodities. Is it possible that every consumer, rich or poor, will be able to afford this price? Is it important that everybody will be able to afford? सब कोई ये पैसे दे पाएंगे? ये मुमकिन है क्या? आप लोग बोलेंगे नहीं? So what happens is, government fixes the maximum price for certain commodities, essential commodities, for certain essential commodities. Where it is fixing it? Below the equilibrium price. So suppose government is fixing it here. But then, sir, what happens as a result? Due to this, there is an excess demand in the market. there is an excess demand in the market. So black marketing starts taking place, where people start buying from black markets at higher prices. Black marketing is a direct consequence. Black marketing is a direct consequence. Black marketing is a direct consequence. Black marketing is a direct consequence here. Black marketing is a direct consequence here. Okay, so black marketing, my dear friends, is a direct consequence here. What should the government do? What does the government do? Government introduces rationing system. All of you must have heard of ration cards. What happens in rationing system is that yes, you will have to buy at PE, price equilibrium only, but up to a certain quantity, suppose up to 4 kg rice, the person will with ration card can buy at a lower price. Person with ration card can buy at a lower price. That is the magic that is possible. That is the magic that is possible. Acha, is that so, sir? Yes, friends, that is so. That is available, that is possible. Great, sir, that is great. Yes, indeed it is. This is price ceiling. This is price ceiling. Remember, price ceiling is fixed below the equilibrium price. Price ceiling is fixed below the equilibrium price. Normally, ceiling will give you the feeling of upper, but it is fixed below the equilibrium price. Remember this very vividly. Remember this. As a result of this, black marketing starts taking place, where people buy at a higher price from black markets. Wherever they can buy it from wherever, but this is the concept of price ceiling. I am sure only this much is important, huh? So don't be, too fidgety about it. Whatever we have discussed is enough. Okay. Yes, sir, it's crystal clear. Now, my dear friends, we are moving on to another concept that is called price rationing. That is called price rationing. Price rationing. Price rationing. Now, what is happening is price rationing. Achha, forget about price rationing, price flooring. Rationing, so I've already discussed. Price flooring or price floor. Not even flooring, it's price floor. Okay, now what is happening? Suppose there is this demand curve. Suppose there is this supply curve again. Again, who is doing this? Government is doing this. Who is doing this? Again, the government is doing this. Who is doing this? Government is doing this. Here, the government is not protecting the consumers. Here, the government is protecting the producers. Government is protecting the producers / farmers. Government is protecting the producers / farmers. Achha. Now what happens is, suppose this is the equilibrium price again. This is the equilibrium quantity. This is the supply curve. This is the demand curve. You all tell me. आप मुझे बताइए कि क्या ये जरूरी है क्या हर फार्मर इस दाम पर बेच पाए? हो सकता है इससे ज्यादा तो उसका खर्चा लगाओ. तो क्या हर फार्मर या हर प्रोड्यूसर इसी दाम पर बेच पाए? ये मुमकिन है क्या हर बार? Is it possible that every farmer is able to sell at this EP price only? Maybe the farmer has incurred more cost than the equilibrium determined price. Don't you agree that it is not always possible for farmers or producers in general to sell at that exact level, and because their cost may not be recovered at this price? So you are correct. So what will the government do to protect farmers? Will it fix the minimum price of a product above equilibrium price or below equilibrium price? Obviously, sir, above, to protect them. So it has fixed it here. So no one can purchase. It is also called, minimum assured price. Minimum assured price. And in this situation, what is happening? There is a situation of excess supply in the market. Now, government tells the farmers and producers, okay, farmers, listen, don't worry. What does the government say? Government says, okay, farmers, listen, don't worry. Even if, even if, even if nobody is buying from you, I will buy from you. So even if there is excess supply, government will buy the excess stock, will buy the excess output and build a buffer stock. A buffer stock will be built. Buffer stock. Buffer stock means extra stock. Buffer stock means extra stock. Buffer stock means extra stock. Government will keep a buffer stock or an extra stock here. Buffer stock means extra stock. Is it clear, friends? Yes. Government will put it above. So that is called building a buffer stock. Now pay attention, everyone. Now pay attention, friends. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Okay. Yes, sir, we are listening. Yes, sir, we are listening. Please go ahead. So now, my dear friends, what is happening is, listen carefully. Okay. All this is done. All this is understood very well. Great. Now what happens? Now what happens beyond this? Price flooring, price scaling done. Let's come back to our topic. Okay. That is price ceiling and price floor. Okay. So now moving on. Question number 81. Question number 81. Let's see what is going on in 81. In oligopoly, when the industry is dominated by one large firm, which is considered as a leader of the group, obviously that is partial oligopoly. Obviously that is partial oligopoly because there is one market leader. I told you, like Jio. Jio is huge, followed by Airtel, followed by Vodafone. So basically Jio is the leader, is all I am saying. When the products are sold through a centralized body, yes, when the products are sold through a centralized body, we call it a syndicate. So a syndicated oligopoly. Syndicated oligopoly. Through a centralized body, the products are being sold. Now moving on. When the monopolists divide the consumer into separate sub-markets and charge different prices in different sub-markets, what kind of price discrimination are we looking at? Sir, it is third degree price discrimination. Different prices in different sub-markets and dividing it into different sub-markets, it is third degree discrimination. Third degree. Remember, third degree. Under that, the monopolist will fix a price which will take away the entire consumer surplus. What does it mean? It means by the charging on the basis of ability to pay. Charging on the basis of ability to pay. So that is called first degree price discrimination. When you charge on the basis of ability to pay. When you divide in some market, that is third degree price discrimination. When you go for customer segmentation, that is second degree price discrimination. Price discrimination is related to time. Okay, it can be related to it. Okay, once. Okay, size of purchase, yes, income. So it can be any of the above, friends. So price discrimination is related to any of the above. You are correct in saying so. 85th one is D. That's correct. That's correct, friends. Correct. Now, I am giving you time to solve from 86 to 89. Come on. Everybody, take your time and solve it. Then we will discuss. And in your chat box, always write the question number. Suppose you are giving 86A, for example. So you must write 86A that way. Okay. Come on. The firm and the industry are one and the same in monopoly, because in monopoly there are no other firms, not at least not the close substitutes, not at all. So 86D is the answer. Okay, monopoly. Now, demand curve of a monopolistic firm will be upward sloping, downward sloping. Obviously, demand curve will be downward sloping. Demand curve of a monopoly firm will be downward sloping, obviously. If average cost is higher than average revenue, firm incurs. If the cost is higher than the, now see, if cost is higher than the revenue, firm incurs loss, obviously. If AC is greater than AR, firm is already making losses now. So that is your answer. Which of the following statement is correct? Which of the following statement is correct? Question 89. You know, price rigidity is an important feature of monopoly. Okay, selling costs are possible under perfect competition. Under perfect competition, factors of production do not move freely. And finally, an industry covers consists of many firms. Which of the following is correct? Price rigidity is an important feature. No, it is in oligopoly. Selling costs are possible. No, selling cost advertising is not done. Yes, industry consists of many firms. So therefore, industry consists of many firms is the correct answer. Question number 89. Isn't it, friends? Yes or no, please? Confirm it. Because yes, industry is composed of many firms. Yes. Now moving on to question number 90. You will have a look here. Moving on to question number 90. Again, let's take some time. You will do question 90 to 94. Then I will discuss all of the four. Take your time. I'm giving you next 5 minutes. So if we go about it, friends, which of the following statement is incorrect? Which of the following statement is incorrect? Under monopoly, there is no difference between a firm and an industry. It is saying number one. Under monopoly, there is no difference between a firm and an industry. Okay. Next, moving on. A monopolist may restrict. A monopoly may restrict the output and raise the price. Next, commodities offered for sale under a perfect competition will be heterogeneous. And next, product differentiation is peculiar to monopolistic competition. Product differentiation is peculiar to monopolistic competition. Right. So now when we discuss this, friends, see, under monopoly, there is no difference between a firm and an industry, they are saying. Under monopoly, they are saying there is no difference between firm and industry. It is correct. Next, 90B is a monopolist may restrict the output and raise the price. Yes, it is possible. commodities offered for sale will be heterogeneous. Wrong. In perfect competition, the commodities are what? Homogeneous. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. So 91 I have done. Question number 90 I have done. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. For market, the essential condition is a particular geographic place, no. Control of government, no. Close contact between buyers and sellers, yes. It can be via online or offline in a physical place. That is not important. Contact is important. So my answer. Now moving on. Question number 92 we discuss. See what is happening. Assume that when price is rupees 10, quantity demanded is 5 units. And when price is 12, but the price has increased, quantity demanded has reduced to 4. Based on this information, what is marginal revenue? So now see, price is 5, price is 10, quantity is 5. So revenue is 50, then 12, then 4. So 48. Now pay attention. And when price is 12, quantity demanded is 4. So from 4 to 5, if you move, 4 units to 5 units, you move 48 to 50. So 2. So your revenue is increasing by 2 rupees. How much 2? How do you show it? You can just show it like this now. That when quantity is 4, your total revenue is 48. When quantity is 5, your total revenue is 50. Always remember, you write the lesser quantity above. So marginal revenue is change in total revenue, which is by 2 rupees. And so 2 rupees. Acha, understood. Understood. Moving on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Now, average revenue equals to change in, let's discuss each one of them. Change in, it is representing change in P and Q due to 1 unit. No. Average revenue is nothing but price of 1 unit of output. Yes, it is correct. I told you now, Arey Baba, what is total revenue? Price into quantity, correct? Now, what is price is equals to? Total revenue by quantity, and total revenue by quantity is only called average now when you divide something by quantity. So price is always equal to average revenue. Price, everybody write it down in the chat, then only I will progress. Price is always equal to average revenue. Price is always equals to average revenue. Everybody write it down. Price is always equals to average revenue. Everybody write it down. Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, always equal. Remember, price and average revenue are always equal. Come on, everyone. Price and average revenue are always equal. That is the key thing to remember here. Acha, let's move on next. Example of a commodity set to have an international market. Now, first of all, let me wait. 94 to 96, the 3 next questions you will do, then only I will proceed. Think and answer. 95 though is a repeated one. Okay, great. So see, obviously perishable goods, you know, the ones that go bad very easily, apple, fruits and vegetables, etc. So obviously you will not want them to trade internationally, you know. Product whose sale is restricted, if you send it, it is a big deal. Bulky commodities, heavy commodities, very difficult to send across. So prefer not to produce them in international market, but products which are of high value, but small quantity, small weight. Spices, you can say. Tea, coffee that India exports. You can say textiles that goes out. You can say all these are international market, because it is not very heavy to carry them across. It is very heavy to carry them across, but at the same time, you are able to realize a good amount of revenue from them, right? And accordingly, we have answered 94B. Accordingly, we have answered 94B. Okay. Now, if it comes to stock exchange is an example of what kind of market? So, friends, if you talk about that, stock exchange is an example of regulated market. It is representative of regulated market. Why? Who's regulating it? We have discussed it, a while back. It is a repetitive question here. Sir, SEBI is regulating it, isn't it? Yes, sir. Conditions for equilibrium of a firm. What is it here? Pay attention, man. Now it is interesting. See, question number 96. Question number 96. MR equals to MC. Yes. MC cuts MR from below. Yes. So both A and B are correct. But there is no such option. Hello. Both are correct. If you see, this is marginal revenue, this is marginal cost. So here you have achieved equilibrium, but there is no such option. So let's see C. No. MC equals to AR, MR equals to AR, we don't agree. MC equals to MR and MC should have a positive slope. Correct. Arey Baba, if you see here, MC is going up now. Going up means having a positive slope. So D is satisfying both the conditions. When both the conditions are given, obviously you will prefer them compared to any other option, that you might be having. Yes, sir, we understand that. Next, moving on. Next 5 questions. By this, we would have completed over 100 questions from this chapter as well as unit. I'm sure you people must be, happy about the same. Now moving on. Natural monopoly arises whenever there is an enormous goodwill enjoyed by the firm, whenever there are stringent legal and regulatory requirements, very large economies of scale or business combination and cartel. Okay, you do this 5 now, then only I will discuss. It's better for me to interfere then only. I'll wait for 5 to 6 minutes, no doubt. And then we can, have a discussion on what the answer is. Then we can have our discussion on what the answer is. Yes. So natural monopoly arises, like you see about this one, PepsiCo or Coca-Cola for that matter. They are producing in such Lay's. Forget about these Lay's. Baba, Lay's is producing in such a huge scale. Chips that Lay's is producing, it is here producing in such a huge scale that it is around nothing to produce one packet of Lay's. It hardly costs 50 paisa or 1 rupee for that matter. And hence competition is not even able to enter. And that is very large economies of scale. Natural monopoly arises when there are very large economies of scale. When there are very large economies of scale. When there are very large economies of scale. Price discrimination cannot persist. You cannot charge different prices under which of the market forms. Obviously, in perfect competition, price is constant. In perfect competition, price is uniform, or you may call it to be constant. And hence, it's persistent that way. And you can call it persistent, uniform, or, fixed that way, whatever you wish to. Sweezy's model explains the concept of price rigidity related to which market? Come on. Kinked demand curve, you all remember. Obviously, it has got to be oligopoly market. It has got to be oligopoly market. Combination of monopoly and monopsony, bilateral monopoly. We discussed it yesterday. Bilateral monopoly, we call it. Bilateral monopoly, we call it. Price varies by attributes such as location or by customer segment. Acha, customer segmentation is done. Sub-market division. So that is, third degree price discrimination. There is nothing called fourth. If you are doing customer segmentation, you are talking about third degree price discrimination, friends. That is third degree going on. So friends, we have discussed all of the MCQs. Now what are you doing, sir? Now, my dear friends, a comprehensive revision, because this chapter was entirely related. So I will make you write some key notes. You must write this write down this key notes, as they may help as a memory map in exams. When you give exam, the day before or in the morning of exam, you can just revise it through them. Okay. So here I am drawing, you can just follow along. Okay. So the key concepts. Key concepts. Remember one thing. Number one, whenever there is excess demand in the market, remember, whenever there is excess demand in the market, please remember, whenever there will be excess demand in the market, price will rise. Number two, whenever there will be excess supply in the market, you will remember that price is got to fall. Price will definitely fall. Whenever there will be excess supply in the market, price will fall. Next point that you have got to remember is that what shall I say? Yes. Excess demand, price rise, excess supply, price falls. Yes. Market is in equilibrium. I mean, market means for firm to be in equilibrium. For firm to be in equilibrium, two conditions are important. MC equals to MR. MC cuts MR from below. MC cuts MR from below. It is very important. Number four, very short period is also called market period. Very long period is also called secular period. Just write it along with me, huh? Yes, sir. Number five, if both demand and supply are rising, obviously equilibrium quantity will rise. If demand is rising, supply is falling, obviously equilibrium quantity will fall. Now suppose if demand is rising by 50%, supply is falling by 30%, so the rising one is greater, so equilibrium quantity will rise because the percentage rise is greater. But suppose demand is rising by 30%, supply is falling by 50%, then obviously equilibrium quantity is going to fall because the falling one is with greater percentage. Acha. This way, sir, equilibrium quantity we will remember very easily. Very easily. Next one, sir. Next one, sir. Next one. If we talk about this, you all see if you talk about this, you will see there is another thing that comes to play. You know, the unique features of each market. What does it mean? Suppose it is a monopoly market. So for monopoly market, the unique feature is price discrimination. For perfect competition, the unique feature is, for perfect competition, the unique feature is, for perfect competition, the unique feature is homogeneity of products and perfect knowledge. Homogeneity plus perfect knowledge. That is the unique feature of this market. For oligopoly, the unique feature is kinked demand curve plus price rigidity plus strategic interdependence. Then you talk about monopolistic competition. Then if you talk about monopolistic competition, my dear friends, in monopolistic competition, the unique feature is two. Number one unique feature of monopolistic competition is non-price competition. That is, they will not compete by reducing prices. Next, there is freedom of entry and exit. Next, a monopoly curve will also be downward sloping. A monopolistic competitive firm will also have a downward sloping curve. Yes, but remember, in monopolistic competition, the curve would be relatively flatter because of competition. Here the curve will be relatively steeper, also called inelastic in nature. I'm talking about monopoly. And in monopolistic competition, it would rather be of an elastic nature, because consumer will have options to shift. Hello, friends, this much noted down, yes or no? Hello. Key points, key summary I am giving you from chapter number 4. Come on, everybody. Come on, fatafat. Then the next one is, then you will see, if you have understood this much. Achha, in second diagram, remember, monopolistic competition, the curve will be flatter. Due to competition, it will be elastic in nature in monopolistic competition. Next, marginal revenue equals to average revenue into E minus 1 by E. That lands us to three different conditions, If E is greater than 1, MR is going to be positive. If E equals to 1, MR is going to be 0. If E is less than 1, MR is going to be negative in nature. Yes. MR equals to AR into E minus 1 by E. Okay. Now remember, in perfect competition, the curve is a parallel one. So if you draw the curve, it would be a horizontal line like this, like this. So price equals to average revenue equals to marginal revenue. But in oligopoly, if you see, the curve is kinked. So it is like this and then this. This is called the kinked shape. Why is the kinked? Why is the kinked? Why is the kinked shape in oligopoly? You know, the answer was given by Paul Sweezy. Paul Sweezy called it because of price rigidity. Paul Sweezy called it because of price rigidity. Paul Sweezy called it because of price rigidity. Okay. Acha. Next coming on. One more thing you remember, this is from supply that I am teaching you. Supply we had done long back, but remember, if the supply curve, remember this, if the supply curve is like this, supply curve is like this, and if the supply curve is like this. So there are three supply curves, S1, S2, and S3. They are starting from where? They are starting from the origin. So the key point to note down here is, if this is price, obviously, this is quantity supplied, obviously. So the key point here is if the curve, if supply curve starts from the origin, it will always, yes, underline the word always, it will always be a case of unitary elastic supply. Friends, it will always be a case of unitary elastic supply, that is elasticity equals to 1. Always. Remember this, very, very important. Understood, friends? I hope you have noted it down, or note it down if not, waiting. So my dear friends, this way we have completed the chapter as well as the unit today of determination of price and output market and its various forms. All right, chapter 4 is also over. So tomorrow we will be discussing our last chapter in our last class, the name of which is business cycles. So make sure you all revise it. See you all tomorrow with the business cycles class. All right. See you all tomorrow in the business cycle class. Thank you very much. Tata for the day. Bye bye.